Stratos time again, and we're heading to Phoenix. Look what arrived today. Beautiful wheels. Did anyone spot the obvious problem? Yes. There's only 3. Interesting. Beautiful. Very nice indeed. Just hope they don't leak like David's do. Funny actually, gold wheels are something I've never really contemplated on any vehicle. Little ostentatious, pretentious even. But somehow on the Stratos they're not, and they're just right. Talking of which, this is just kind of wrong. Be rude not to get it on video. Not quite the turning circle of the London Cap. Yeah, glad we got rid of that anyway. Looks a bit dusty. Haven't got the wheels ready.
I can't get a cue. It would be completely in my experience with listed belt bars. Absolutely.
Decided to take the Alfa motor out and put this Ferrari motor in instead. I actually found my Nikon, my SLR, and I worked out how to do video on that. That's really good. I'm going to buy a proper external mic for it with one of those furry devices for wind noise.
Oh, you mean a hamster?
Yeah. Yeah. Guinea pigs are better.
Oh, shit. See what happens, gentlemen, when he says the word guinea pig, he goes all wobbly.
Despite the banter about cameras and hamsters, talking down the rocker cover studs here, but we run into some problems.
Are you going to do them crosswise though? You're going to do them across?
Yeah, I've done this one and that one.
Hey, that's one.
Alright, let's try this one again.
Try that one again.
Ah, it's just burning. Shit. Alright, let's try this one.
For any future purchase of this car, we did sort this out afterwards. We brought a professional in.
It's not even that it's the new nuts as opposed to the old ones.
Feels like you have to... Hey.
Okay. So we've done that one and that one, right?
So you feel like the old ones are the ones that are being a bugger?
Maybe. That definitely is.
In which case we could replace...
I know a lot of you have been asking about headroom in here, and so I'm sitting in here, and as you can see, just like Top Gear, there's not a lot of leg room. So with my extra long legs, this is as far back as the seat will go, and that's the kind of driving position. So there's clearance on the wheel, but that's about it. And as Clarkson and Hammond determined, there's obviously a certain amount of man touching going to be happening when you're changing gear. But headroom wise, as you can see, plenty of room. Bearing in mind there's about 3 inches of hair, and I'm 6'2". There's plenty of clearance here. And these are Lister Bell's own seats, which are specifically designed to give you a little bit extra headroom. Still waiting for just one switch before they all get sent over, and then we'll start tackling the dashboard and all the gauges. And I'm thinking that bracket there underneath the dash would be a good mounting spot for our little switch panel that we want to put in. Nice and outright, somewhere totally random like here, in between the seats. Or maybe a roof panel. I don't think so. So while we were talking down the rocker cover bolts, we found that some of them were getting gnarled up, and here's probably why, because these special bolts that I bought are actually just a little bit too long, so you can see they're probably bottoming out when they hit the bottom there. So we're going to book some washers just to pack it out a little bit. The over-engineered door hinges. Ridiculous window mechanism, which will now be demonstrated by my glamorous, or not so glamorous, assistant.
Life expectancy of this particular mechanism is 7. So
and obviously the super wide door pocket, which will fit a small motorcycle helmet in. Just working out where the gauges are going to go. Rev counter obviously most important, and the speedo is actually kind of partially blocked by the steering wheel, so that's fine unless you're doing over 80 miles an hour, which is quite likely. And then up centre and middle oil pressure as per the Top Gear driving of the Lancia Stratos, and temperature gauges either side of that. I've flipped them actually. This is the water temp. On the original Stratos that was the oil temp and that was the water temp, so I flipped them around because I'm more concerned about the water temp, honestly. And then the fuel gauge and the voltmeter. The reason some of those were wonky is because we need to trim out some of that bit behind that dashboard, part of the frame. It's marked up there, I guess Lister Bell forgot, and same there, and then it's going to be the same deal when we get to all these switches, so all that's got to come out. So now we've got to work out how to cut those, trim those little bits out. Yeah, probably. Gonna have to do it in situ though. And for all the switches. So this is the gear linkage mounting bracket, which has been put onto the transmission here, and that's where all the cables are going to fit. Mike decided we should all experience the sound of a 288 GTO replica with a straight through exhaust. Not about to either. Sounds like my MV. Heading home, bit of a disappointing day in terms of you know, what we actually got done, but what we did do is discover a lot of things that need improving, a lot of other little bits that we're missing, like O2 sensors, things like that. So there's plenty to be getting on with on eBay, and just admiring the scenery as I drive home. Fantastic panorama as you come down the mountain into the Verde Valley. Beautiful. And there's Sedona in the distance on the left there, those big mountains. One of the decisions we made at the weekend was actually to get a haircut. Yeah. No, it was concerning the dashboard and trimming that was required of the Alcantara covered fiberglass. None of us thought this was a good idea, honestly, because of course it would break the material and that could potentially cause some other issues. So we did a whole review of the whole thing and decided that we're gonna recreate that aluminium dash panel itself, not difficult. And we also reviewed the switch situation. So the original road car, as opposed to the rally cars, had just 4 switches. They were slightly wider and stubbier than the Lister Bell switches that they use. So we're wondering what we need the switches for, honestly. And it boils down to lights, and that's about it. So we're going to go with 4 stubbier switches. We're going to remove the 2 big circular holes for warning lights and put in a very discreet little oil warning light. We don't need one for hazard flashes because the actual speedometer gauge has indicator LEDs in there for left and right, so they'll both flash anyway when the hazards are on. We haven't got a rear demist window as far as I'm aware, so we don't need a warning light for that, and we don't need a switch for it. Thinking about the oil warning light, I guess we could have the whole dashboard light up from the back in a flashing mode. That would certainly draw the attention. Maybe a few sirens and bells and whistles too. Yeah, maybe not. HT leads also turned up only a few days late, which meant we didn't have them for the weekend, but at least we've got them now. And these turned up, which are a bit of a giggle. So that's about it for this episode, honestly. Probably back again next week on the Stratos. Got lots of parts coming, O2 sensors, other weird and wonderful devices that need to be strapped into the ECU harness. Might as well get new parts, coils, all kinds of stuff. As usual, thanks for watching, and I hope you found it interesting and maybe a little amusing even. Do subscribe to the channel and do come back and watch some other episodes of this project and some of the other crazy things that I'm getting up to, honestly. Bye for now.